Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Our Redux, and welcome to kind of a different video. I'm going to be telling you a story. In this case, a bedtime story for me, because it's 2 hours past my bedtime, and I pretty much just got home. Where was I? Well, I went on another Fruman's Fantastical Adventure. We went to one store that was 2 hours away. It means Truman drove me, him, and I 2 hours there and then 2 hours back. But on the way back, I wanted to go to a thing that he was going to go to, but I would have had to have one of my parents come pick me up because I can't drive yet. Planning to change that soon, by the way. Or just walk home. That's not an option. Or take the bus. So, yeah, I took the freaking bus. This is basically the third time I've ever taken the bus in my life. And while not driving, that's probably surprising to most people out there that, take the bus or drive. So I haven't done much of either. I haven't done any of one, and I've only done some of busing. And I've only rode the train like twice or something. Anyway, so what happened on this time, though, was pretty crazy. A lot of stuff happened. A lot of stuff that, hang on. A lot of stuff that I wouldn't have expected, but really did happen. And I'm going to go over all that because it was pretty interesting. It was a very, very eventful bus ride. It was about an hour and a half bus ride from where I grew up to where I am right now. And it was pretty nuts. I mean, okay. So I get on the bus, right? I'm kind of sitting in the front-ish of the bus, those 4-seat places. I was sitting on one of those seats, in the corner of one of them. And I had my camcorder, which is right here. Actually, the battery's gone from it because I'm charging it back there. But so I was carrying that, kind of clutching it. Come on, focus, you idiot. Okay. And I was just sitting there. But, and there was only me and like one other passenger. One other very silent, very awesome passenger who was just, listening to music through their ear pods or something. So, yeah, pretty uneventful start. But as soon as passengers started to get on, they piled up really quickly. The bus was about half full when, a couple stops down, when a little bit more loud people came on, but they didn't seem to cause that many issues. They were kind of in the back, and I was kind of in the front. About a couple stops in, though, someone got on who needed to, who was in a wheelchair, and this guy looked like if the first Doctor from Doctor Who, like in the 60s, if he was alive today. That's what he would look like. Actually, that guy would have been over 100 if he had lived. This guy kind of looked 100. So, yeah. So he looked like the first Doctor if he was alive today, and and then there was this There was a black guy that was kind of across from him on the other side of the 4-seat place. The four seats are now flipped up to accommodate the man in the wheelchair, to accommodate the wheelchair that the man is in, sorry. So the black man will come up later. Not like that. He's actually pretty cool. So, let's see, after that, a couple stops down, this woman got on, and she kind of sat right behind me. And I could tell right away she was extremely talkative to no one. She was clearly insane. But that didn't really bother me because the stuff she was spouting was fucking hilarious. It was actually almost making me laugh a couple times. So I was kind of just having fun. It wasn't annoying to me. I was having fun, but it was definitely annoying every other passenger on the thing. So, yeah, not the greatest. But eventually she pulled the thing, and she was talking about being confused about what stops you need to get off on. So she pulled the thing, being confused, and before she figured out where she actually was. and she realized her mistake immediately. But the bus driver, and she was like telling the bus driver to go, go, go. But the thing is, the bus driver has to wait for the other passengers. But this lady didn't know that, of course, and she wasn't listening to the bus driver. So there's this disconnect between the driver and the passenger, in conversation, and now in argument, and now in yelling argument. They were yelling at each other. She was spitting all kinds of cuss words and insults. He was just saying, yeah, this is my day, in day in, day out. This is my job. This is what I do. Deal with it every day. So he didn't really saying much of interest, but this idiot lady, I was fighting the urge to stand up and say, you know what? If you don't shut the fuck up, I'm going to whack you upside the head with my camcorder. And this has a lead acid battery in it. That's going to hurt, bitch. So, I was getting pretty pissed off, but contained it, and I didn't do anything. No one else seemed to do anything either. No one was fighting for the man at the front driving the bus. So that was kind of depressing, but we probably would have made it worse, and we might have been kicked off the bus, because now thinking about it, the bus driver has rules to uphold. He wasn't really fighting back either. So yeah, it was just kind of an unfortunate situation. But right after that, she got off the bus at whatever stop that was. Their fight lasted for like fucking two or three stops. It was crazy. And after that, right after that, like one stop after that, this other dude, which I guess was in the back of the bus, being kind of silent until now, got up and started spouting stuff about how he kills people and how he's a sniper and how he's Afghan. However that matters, it really doesn't, but that's what he said. And he was just going on and on and on, like he was in the war or something, in some Afghan war, and I have no idea. He was spouting crazy shit. Okay, that's just what they do. And he was like standing in the doorway as he was doing this. He was doing it for like maybe 45 seconds. It felt like a long time, but it was only like 45 seconds, 45 seconds. So he got off, the door shut, and a couple stops later, like 2 or 3 stops maybe, there might have been a lot of stops between these. I was kind of just hanging out. So these teenagers, it was like, I guess they were both 15, I don't know. One of them was 15. They might actually be watching this video, so if you're watching this, hey, you're cool, and thanks for talking to me. People don't usually talk on buses. It's usually, for some reason, just this giant-ass quiet zone, unless there's people spouting random shit on their phones, but these two were cool. They were like your typical in-love teenagers, I guess, of the modern day, like 2025. So yeah, so as you can imagine, they're pretty cool, and they're pretty chill-ish. They didn't seem chill-ish with each other, but I guess that's how just love goes in the modern age. But anyway, so this guy, I guess the boyfriend, he came up through the bus looking for anyone with a what he called I think a phone brick, but he was looking for somewhere to charge his phone and maybe their vape, but which I think that too of, but I think his girlfriend was trying to charge her vape as well. So I was like, yeah, I have a power source. So I pull out the giant thing, which I actually don't have. It's charging back where it's charged, but it's my little power thing. That's what I call it, and it's the AC battery. It's a 100 watt hour AC battery, and it has 2 USB ports on it. One is USB-C though, and the other is USB-A. They only had 2 USB-A cables, one for the vape, which is USB-C, one for his iPhone, which was, actually they didn't have one. Yeah, they had one for the iPhone, but it was USB-A, and I didn't have a USB Well, I had a cable that from USB-C to USB, or from USB-C to Lightning, which is what his phone required. So I lent them that cable. Of course, I kept the brick on my side because they seem cool, but I don't want to risk anything. You know, you can never know when you're on the bus, when you're in public. So I was being cautious and crap, but I plugged both cables in. They plugged his girlfriend plugged this cable into plugged the USB-A cable into the USB-A port, and then I plugged the white cable that I had into the USB-C port. I turned the thing on, and thankfully, it can output through both ports at once, which I didn't even think I could do that. You know, that's what you get expecting, you know, things to be designed well, and then they aren't. You eventually start expecting the opposite, so that's what I'm like now. But nope, it was able to output through both ports, and I was quite glad about that because I made two people happy. I like doing that sort of shit. Yeah, so we talked on and off, and we basically talked. He was asking me what I do, which of course I do cinematography. Actually, this is a new lens. This is an f1.8 Canon lens that I got. It's a 50mm lens. So it also has a stepper motor. That's why this kind of is a test video, and also why it kind of focuses. It struggles to focus properly or quick. It's just a weird lens. But anyway, it's a really good one, so that's why I'm testing it. But I don't remember what I was saying. Oh yeah, so yeah, they were pretty loud, and of course, sitting right behind me, I could hear everything. But it was pretty funny, and they were just having fun. You know, teenagers in love. Who can't love hearing that? Whatever hearing that must entail. But yeah, so that was fun, and we talked about, you know. He asked me what I do. I run YouTube channels, and I didn't talk about the drum stuff I do or the music stuff. I don't know why I didn't, because that's probably the more interesting thing, but I didn't say any of that. But I did tell him about I Read Redux, which is this channel, and Mellowcore, which is the new one that has the really good videos on it. And because he asked about this camcorder. That's the first thing he said. He asked about this camcorder. And so I pulled up the tape, showed them both, and they were like, whoa, look at that shit. And then I taught them that, well, that camcorder basically uses a tiny ass lead acid battery, like a tiny car battery, which it does. So, yum. Don't eat it though, unless you want to die. So, that happened. And that was pretty cool. And then, like 6 stops down, I guess, they had a hankering for some drugs or something, some weed. So I didn't do anything. I witnessed, I guess, that's probably what I did. I went, what the fuck am I talking about? No, I saw the black dude across the way that was right next to the old man. He definitely gave them green shit. So they gave him weed. The kids, the 15-year-olds, he gave the 15-year-olds weed. They didn't pay for it. It seemed like just a freebie, but yeah, I thought that was interesting and worth mentioning. I'm not going to put any details in this video, so you can go track these people down. I don't do that shit. Come on, that's not cool. You know, they're just having fun. So that's something that happened. Oh, and then this dude who, he says he's 29. He said that he has a kid who's 19. As in, he has a son who's 19. His oldest son is 19, and then he has like a 15-year-old who's just, or like a 14-year-old who's just about to turn 15. But he's 29, and then he goes on to say that he was 9 years old when he had his first kid. I don't even think that's possible. At least not naturally, which is probably why he said that his dad shot him up with steroids when he was in first grade. And so he grew and grew and grew and grew, shot up and shot up and shot up. And I guess he had a kid when he was 9, which is insane to think about. Like, what would the girl have been thinking? Like, what? But, so that was weird. So, that's mighty impressive if anyone believes it. But, anyway, so, turns out anyone can be crazy. Doesn't matter who you think it is. But, anyway. So that was interesting. And after that, I had to figure out where the fuck I was, because I didn't actually know where I was getting. I knew where I was supposed to get off, but I didn't know if the bus was actually going to say it, because last time I took the bus, it didn't actually say up on the sign on in the bus what, like, the stop I was supposed to get off on. Like, it just never said it. It said things that were around it, but it never actually said my stop. So I think that was just a bug in their system, because it said it on the website, but not on the bus. So I was like, what the fuck? So, but that didn't happen this time. I got the correct information from my dad, actually, who, after I got off the bus, I was like, dude, that was the best fucking bus ride of my life. That was awesome. So many experiences in such a little time. And, yeah, that was pretty cool. I'd do it again. And you know, bus rides only cost $2.50, and I have my Clapper card, so yeah. And it's 12:17 now, so this video has probably been 17 minutes long. We're going to conclude it, and yeah, thanks for watching. This has been iRed Redux, and have a great rest of your evening. And I'll see you all in the next live stream, short or video, whatever that may be. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great time.